But yes, we will see if our fabulous Liz Johnson is here to share some fabulous goodies that Janome has. Oh, lovely. Oh, and there she is.
Ooh,
Hey, hello.
finally.
Hello, yes.
Hi.
Oh, I'm over here. I'm so sorry to be so late. You know, it's been very busy in the Janome booth. And I think, what was I thinking
bet.
coming live from Quilt Canada? It sounded like a good idea, but oh boy, the time. Where does the time go?
Oh, I'm so glad you're here, but we have lots of fun stuff to talk about. But just,
Yes,
tell us a
absolutely.
little bit about the show and what's going on before we dive in.
Oh, yes. Well, I've got the fabulous Monique over there and our dealer Andrew from Maple Leaf Quilting. There's Alan, our marketing guru. Now, Alan normally does not come. There he is. Yes. Alan normally does not come to the shows. So we were thrilled to have him here. So he has been indispensable helping us get everything set up, but also he's taking lots of pictures, some of Monique's beautiful quilting on the Quilt Maker Pro 20. So that's fabulous.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so we've got these machines here. We've got lots of long arms. We've got the Janome Quilt Maker Pro 18 Versa. So if you're not into the stand-up long arms, we do have a sit-down version. So that's very cool. And then debuting at Quilt Canada here, we've got the fabulous Quilt Maker 15. That's the 15-inch throat space, a more like simplified machine that you don't have to get into so many controls and so many bells and whistles, but that same beautiful stitching. And with the Quiltmaker 15, you can get the Pro Stitcher Lite. So you can still do your quilting, computerized quilting. And then, of course, what everybody really wants to see, of course, big quilting machines at a quilt show. And then, yes, the fabulous CM17. Brand new, beautiful machine. Yes. We need to see about getting you one, Liz. Maybe Randy will be able to do something about it. Yes.
Hey, Randy.
Oh, Liz is saying hi. You can say hi to her. There. Let's flip it around.
Hi, Liz. How
Mr.
are you?
Thomas.
I'm at Quilt Canada.
Yes.
Loving the life. Loving the life. You wish you were here with me, right?
I do. You were the coolest.
I know.
And that's on camera now. So, yes.
I have that for all eternity.
Yes, exactly. Fabulous. So, yes, that's a little bit what's going on in the booth here. So, Liz, what is new and exciting with you?
Well, we just debuted 3 articles on the Sew for Home website that I want to call people's attention to. Because we are doing this over our phones, I'm actually just sitting at my table because trying to set everything up with a machine and craziness was a little much. So I am going to be holding up 3 brand new presser feet. So I will try to get them in front of the camera so everyone can see them. But I encourage you, if you can, to jump to the Sew for Home website, where we also have a lot more detail, a lot more close-up photos, and all that kind of good stuff. But I think, Michael, you and I totally are on the same page when it comes to using the right presser foot for the job. It makes everything so much easier.
Absolutely. And I am just trying to fish out my presser feet, so then I'll be able to show them up close as well. Again, we don't need a close-up of my face that much. Well, you can tell this is such an amateur production.
Oh, no, it's amazing. So I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the BiLevel Foot. And so if I hold this up, this little puppy, right up to the camera, I think that you can see that on either side of the opening in the foot, those are just a slightly different level. One is just a little bit higher than the other. And the brilliance behind this design is that means that it can ride along the edge of a seam, the edge of a fold, the top of a tote bag. This is so cool. We had so much fun with it. I'm going to grab some of our samples. What we thought was super fun is that we did them alongside some tucks We made some half-inch tucks.
Beautiful.
And then we tested along there. So you can certainly do, just beautiful edge stitching, top stitching. But what's cool is it's wide enough so you can use it like any decorative stitch foot. So, and not only can you do a standard decorative stitch, you can use a twin needle. And so it really, isn't that cool? And so we used it on a pillow cover. I took the pillow out because it was giant. So
gorgeous.
You can just see, and those are metallic threads, but as we move across, you can see there's just a regular straight stitch, and then we move to a twin needle, and then just a standard decorative stitch, back to a twin needle, back to a straight stitch. And this would look so awesome around the top of a tote bag. You usually want, wouldn't it? You'd usually want something up there so it can kind of hold that final edge a little bit flatter. But imagine being able to do it with this foot. It's just super cool. We even used it on the back. It's just got a standard overlapping placket. But that beautiful straight stitching, that's because of this foot. So this is definitely a must-have in our sewing toolbox right now. Just love that thing. Love it.
Yes, and I love it for binding.
Oh my God, yes, that would be so cool. Then you have the lap seam foot. So for flat felled seams, also called welt seaming, we use that. I know we use that a lot in our home decor, in our bags, and it's perfect if you want to join like big panels. So say you're making a blanket or an awning or something like that, where it's not necessary to have a bunch of layers, but you want a nice finished edge front to back. So this little baby, look at that. It's
very cool.
It is super duper cool. I don't know if everybody can see that well enough or not. Basically, it's still going to be a two-step process. This can't, make a souffle and a flat felled seam at the same time. So you're still going to, depending on whether you're doing what we call an outside flat felled, which is the double stitching, like this one, or an inside where you're just going to see the single. But you still are going to need to start with your regular presser foot. So your layers together, you're going to do your seam and you're going to trim back one of the edges. But then once you have this, you snap this back on, and then it is going to do the folding and stitching all in one pass.
Yeah, that's the beauty. One
amazing
step. Yes.
And so again, there's your outside. It's beautiful on both sides. Here's the inside flat felled where you end up with just one showing through both sides.
Cool.
And oddly enough, for our sample, we use garments again. We don't really do a lot of garments on Sew for Home, but you really see this a lot. And this is a beautiful denim jacket, and it's so beautifully finished front and back. And, I don't know about you, but I have burned my fingers.
Oh my gosh,
to do a flat felt.
Oh no, I agree. And everybody stopped doing them because of that. So this will be such a time saver, and your fingers will appreciate it. Yes.
Your fingers will love you. Now, I'm not a sewing machine engineer, but I also want you to look at the size of these feet. These are for Janome machines, top load and bobbin, 9mm stitch width.
Yes.
When we debuted all of these articles, that's the first thing we heard over and over and over again. What about this machine? What about that machine? And there may be some things coming down the road. We don't know. Michael, I don't know if you've heard, but there's a lot going on here. And I can imagine getting it smaller and smaller and smaller to be able to fit on a 5mm machine or a 7mm machine. That's some pretty precision engineering. So I'm not sure if you've heard what the possibilities are for
Yes, at this
non-9mm.
point, just with 9mm, and I would imagine, as you said, to do that lap seam for a 5mm, that's really tight. So I won't say it's never going to happen. Janome's pretty amazing at what they'll do, but for now,
this
it's
is true.
9mm.
So if you're wondering if it'll work on your Janome, the key part, it's not a matter of the high shank, low shank. We had people that were like, right. But it's all about the stitch width. So just make sure you check your manual, or if you know by heart, if your machine can go up to 9mm, you can use these feet, these little guys. Okay, this little guy is our last little guy. This is the narrow piping foot. So I'm going to... So again, you can see there are 2 tunnels underneath the foot there. And whether you use the right tunnel or the left tunnel, that is going to determine the placement of the stitching. So what is super cool about this foot, at least that I think, is that you can make custom piping tape in this super narrow width that is just super duper perfect. You can kind of see it. Look how beautiful that is, that piping. And then you can also insert it and edge stitch it once everything is done. So you just, and all you're doing is just switching from one tunnel to the next tunnel. So it's riding over that cord, either the cord itself and stitching it into the actual piping tape, or it's going in the other tunnel and you're getting this beautiful finish. So this was just one of our tests that we were playing with. It's definitely meant for lighter weight fabrics. Like this is just a standard, you know, a quilting cotton or a voile or a rayon or anything like that. Don't try and use this particular one on canvas. You'll be
exactly. That for Janome's had their standard piping foot for years, but then especially the return to garment sewers, garment sewing, people wanted something a little more narrow if they were going to put it around their collar or put it around, you know, the shoulder seam or around your sleeve seam, the arm's eye, something smaller, a more fine fabrics, fine piping. So now we've got those 2 options. Oh, so that's
look
adorable.
At this beautiful little thing. Isn't this adorable? So I know that, you know, the heirloom sewer purists out there, I know oftentimes you prefer to do a lot of hand sewing, but there are a lot of heirloom sewing by machine folks out there, and this is going to be perfect for you. So this little teeny tiny heirloom frock, that is the narrow piping that we made the piping first and then inserted it and then top stitched along it. And isn't it cute? It just looks like a little doll dress. So that is just so fun. The other sample that we did is a backpack.
Ooh, that's cool.
Isn't that fun? And
I love that.
This is one of our, isn't that just super fun? And so this is actually a standard project that we have for free on the site. And we just updated a little bit to add the piping here and down here as a dividing line. And so that's something that we really love, and which is perfect for the narrower piping, is that it allows you to outline things. So if you have a pretty flap like this, you know, adding that piping to it, it makes all the difference. And so you can see, again, we made the piping, so it's a perfect match. So you don't have to stand there in front of the package display and go, okay, that's not even close.
I know that the voice from above. I'm like, wow. Hopefully we can still all hear.
Let me hear. I want you to look at how precise that is. So not only the piping itself is just beautifully made and was perfect to work with, but then look at the stitching, and it's beautiful on both sides.
Oh, that's
See,
excellent.
look at
That's
that.
fabulous.
And and so, yeah, around the edge, like you just saw on the little dress or on this flap, but also it to do things like this, like make a real defining line between
Mm.
two panels or wherever you want to use it.
Oh, that's
So, can
awesome.
you still hear me?
I know. I'm like, what prizes are they winning? I wonder. I can't really get away from it. It's all over the hall. So I hope that's not too distracting for everyone out there. But I'll just show the feet one more time. The
And
fabulous
Michael,
three feet.
what's the best way for people to find these? Do you want to talk at this point about pricing? We did get some questions. I've basically just told people to check with their dealers.
Yes, absolutely. They are in stock in our Janome Canada warehouse. So they can double check with their Janome dealers. Some have asked, oh, they're a little more expensive than traditional Janome presser feet. Well, again, as Liz pointed out, there's a lot of engineering behind these feet, particularly that lap seam foot and that BiLevel foot. And as we all know in the rest of the world, COVID did us no favors as far as prices around the table that have gone up. We won't even get into the price of gas these days. So, but again, there's a lot of engineering behind these feet. So yes, there may be a little more than traditionally our most Janome feet, but Janome feet overall are still some of the most reasonably priced feet out there. So again, double check with your Janome dealer about final pricing and everything, because they all will do a little different, and again, who knows, but they can all get them in their store. If they don't have them in stock, we do have them in stock in our Janome Canada warehouse, so they are available. And look forward to more blogs on our Janome Life blog coming up about all of these feats and how to use them. And of course, check out Sew for Home.
So again, I just want, really, this is, even if they are, as Michael said, might be a little more expensive, it is so worth it, because not
Yes.
only will it make your sewing so much more frustration free, and come on, your time is worth quite a bit, so that you're not pulling your hair out because you can't do something. But I think always it's the profession. I know, look what happened to Michael
Yes,
when he
exactly.
did that. But it's that professional finish, and we hear that again and again, and people always write in and they say, why does your stuff always look so good? And a lot of it has to do with being able to use the right tools, the right foot for the job. And
yes, absolutely. And we'll do that in other applications. You do that when you're cooking, you do that when you're gardening, when you're playing a sport, you do it. Using the right tool makes all the difference in the world. These, as you mentioned, Liz, the lap seam foot, you're going to save your burnt fingers. Isn't that worth it? Yes.
Yes, it is. Well, I'm going to I know we started a little bit early, but I'm going to let you get back to it. Just
yes, we have lots
you.
going on here. And again, no one wants to see my face this close up, but I couldn't get my microphone connected to the iPad. So hopefully everybody can hear us. But yes, we'll say goodbye. Randy, do you want to say one last goodbye? Oh, sorry. There.
He's gone away. There he is.
Thanks for joining us.
There he is.
Canada today.
Yes, and we still have Quilt Canada is going on until Saturday. So we've got 16th, 17th, and 18th. So come by this fabulous Janome booth for everyone in Vancouver. Look at all these goodies. Ooh,
it's amazing. And
but those fabulous 3 feet.
Time zone?
Yes, exactly. We're finally in the same time zone. This won't happen next month.
No, it won't.
But yes, for sure, everyone join us next month when we do a live, the third Thursday of the month, from Janome Canada's Facebook page, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific.
Right. So July 14th, and we still are planning exactly what we're going to talk about. I have some fun ideas
excellent.
That would help people with their bag making. So we may be talking about
exciting topic.
Little tips and tricks, and maybe even a special little formula-rich download that we'll have
Ooh,
from
that's
Janome
even
Canada
better.
that will
Yay. Okay.
let you know how to measure your own box corner. There you go.
Oh, fabulous. Okay, that is fabulous. Something to look forward to. So, yes, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so sorry again we were a little late because it's been very busy here, but definitely thank you so much, Liz, for sharing all the Janome love.
Oh, you bet.
And we will see you next week or next month, not next week, next month.
Next month, 14th. All right, everybody.
Yes.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you so much. Have a fabulous day, everyone. Yes, bye.